Hey everyone, this is going to be a track walk at Daytona International Speedway in the Porsche 911 RSR. I'm going to play the lap in full in cockpit view, then I'll do it in chase view, and then we'll do some track analysis. Now here's the lap in chase view. Alright, so for your reference, that was a 1 minute 40.5 seconds. I don't really have any major notes for this track. The only thing I'll say, obviously, is that you're going to be running super low downforce. So you definitely need to be a little careful when braking and turning, because it's very easy to just brake a little too hard and have your rear come around on you. And then obviously the most important thing here is just to be getting a few really good corner exits and just trying to carry as much speed as possible, especially, you know, through the chicane and everything. Yeah, that should be about it. Alright, so going into turn 1 here, coming out of the chicane, you're going to be just hugging the yellow line here, just staying to the inside. But once we start to approach the start-finish line here, that's when you're going to start to drift out wide. And so what I'm aiming for here is that traffic light right there in the fence. And I think I aim to start braking right before it. Looks like I start braking right here, and then I kind of start to turn in at the same time. Again, this is one of the situations where just be careful, because you are turning and braking at the same time, so you can't increase your brake pressure too much. I kind of aim towards that hash line right there as I start to turn in, and then as I increase my steering angle, I let off the brakes a little bit here. I try to straight line it as much as I can, but you definitely are turning as you're braking, so just don't hit the brakes too hard. And then what you're kind of aiming for as your apex here on the left side is that tire wall right there. And now you're gonna notice that I'm gonna pick up my throttle a little early. It looks like there's the track's still turning really far to the left around it, and you may want to trail brake a little deeper. However, the track does open up on the outside, so you have the room to play with. It's okay if you wash out a little bit. So you'll see right here, I pick up my throttle already, but I get on nice and easy, just so I don't get too much wheel spin, and then you can track all the way out to here. And honestly, there are times where I have gotten on the gas a little bit harder, and because the wheel spin actually straightened out my wheel a little bit more, and you can go all the way out. You'll see over here, you can track all the way out over here, if you need to, and just try to keep throttles as long as you can, as early as you can, and you'll make it up, because then by the time you get over here, you're going to be going a little bit faster than I am right now. So we take the curbing here, come back over here, take this curbing. Be careful here. Number one, I believe if you are too far to the inside on on the left side of the yellow curbing, you can get an off track. But besides that, I'm not even sure what it is about the curbing here, but there's like a bump on the inside, and if you hit it as you go over here, you will literally just hook right into the inside wall there. I have done it many times. That's how I know. So just make sure you put your left side tires on the curbing, and that's good enough. You don't need to go too close to the wall. But as you're turning left, just continue to turn left and bring the car back over here. I don't think you can tell here in the cockpit view. Let me quickly switch to chase view here. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. Right here, you can see there's like some dirt patches there. Sometimes you lose it in the sun. There's actually not that much sun right now. If there's actually like a golden sun on there, you won't even see it. It just looks like it's a little bright right now, so it's a little tough to see, but you can see it better from here as we approach it. There's these dirt patches, and that's kind of what I'm aiming for my brake marker. It looks like I reach peak brake pressure like right as that dirt is ending, right around there. On the right side, it looks like also it's kind of where the cones start. If you drew a line across the track, that's kind of where I'm aiming to reach peak brake pressure. Let's go back here to cockpit. Break in a straight line here, and then start to come in. You're definitely trying to late apex here, right about there. That's your apex, and that's also when I pick up the throttle. I would definitely suggest making sure you take this curbing. I just feel like it grips up the front a little bit. And it helps you get on the gas a little bit earlier, just because it helps you rotate the car. And then over here you can track out all the way to here. So just try to get on the gas you know, as soon as hard as you can, because you can use all that up over there. We are full throttle here, and then here on this kink over here, number 1, this was actually only my second lap in this session. I just hopped in here and did 2 laps, I think, right? Yeah, I only did 2 laps. So my tires are still a little cold. Lap 1, 2, maybe even 3, probably not 3, but definitely laps 1 and 2. Because we are running so low downforce, I think I'm only on a 1 on the wing, maybe even a 0, either 1 or 0. You can very easily lose the rear in here if your tires are so cold. Once they're up to temp, you can pretty much keep this full throttle. But you see here, I just lifted a little bit just because I was being a little cautious. Definitely lap 1, you're gonna have to lift a little bit. But what I was also gonna say, number 2, is take the curbing here a lot. You'll feel it if you try to avoid it or just take the yellow, you know, a little bit. It's just easier to lose the rear. I feel like for some reason if you take this curbing and there's like, you know, a little bumps and dips, it actually just somehow kind of like hooks up the car, helps you rotate a little bit, so that when you pass this little kink, your steering's actually a little bit straighter than if you try to avoid it. Let me see. When I go over it, where am I? So you can see my left side tires are in that little bit of I don't even know what that is, but it's that like that grippy concrete type thing that's on top of the grass. I'm not sure what that is, but it's not slippery because it's not grass. You have full traction there, and like I said, it somehow actually just helps the car grip up a little bit and make this turn a lot easier. If you had to come from here and go out a little wide right now, at this point you'd have a lot more steering angle to bring it in, just to make sure that you didn't come out too wide over here, because you have a right-hander coming up, so you want to try to stay as far to the left as you can. So yeah, let's back to cockpit. Okay, I think here I'm trying to peak brake pressure right in like the middle of the cones to the right. Yeah, so past the cones here, and then right here I'm reaching peak brake pressure. You don't need to be all the way to the left, because this hairpin is not, you know, a tight hairpin. It's just like the first horseshoe. So you can still take your late apex, but you don't need to be all the way to the left. At that point, you're just increasing your distance for no reason. And also, if you did end up, you know, coming out a little wider here, you can come all the way to that curbing there if you needed it, just because you couldn't open up the steering soon enough for something. That's fine. Just make sure that you keep the steering to the left and come back to about the middle of the track here. As long as you're like in the middle, that should be fine. So this is a fairly hard braking zone, and then start to let off as we turn in here. And I think, let me go to chase view here. So this is, I'm calling this the first dirt patch, because if you see, as I pass this part right here, the grass kind of meets back to the yellow curbing. And then as we go again, this is like my second dirt patch, kind of. And that's kind of where you're aiming to apex. Yeah, because the corner's kind of blind, just because, especially when you're in the car, everything is just, it's just so flat, you really can't see your corner exit, you can't see the end of the curbing, you can't really see anything. So that's kind of what I aim for. I kind of aim right now, I'm aiming to just stay to the left, and then right here, as I see the curbing, that's when I start my harsh turn in, and like I said, it's the curbing kind of has a little bit of a peak right there that you can kind of see from here, where it looks like it takes a sharp right, and it's kind of like right after that you're apexing. That's your late apex, which is right here. And you know, you want to try to again get on the gas as soon as possible, and you can, because the track does open up over here. Definitely keep a lot of people will sometimes accidentally, because you're apexing over here, they'll open up the steering a lot. You still need to keep some steering angle in here. And what I kind of do sometimes is just keep the steering angle in until I can see the end of the curbing, like I do now, and then I open up and just kind of try to aim for the end of that curbing. And if you do, you're gonna end up having plenty of room over here to track out full throttle. Let's bring it back over to the right side now, and I think I start my braking right in the middle of these cones again. And then I try braking a straight line here, and then turn in. It is very, 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 very bumpy over here. The outside is actually less bumpy, but I think at that point you're just increasing your distance so much it's not necessarily worth it. But what I will say is that I don't care what lap you're on, what angle you come into this corner. The most important thing here is getting on the throttle as soon as possible. So we come in here and cut this a lot. I think my left side tires are probably like in the dirt over here. Oh, not in the dirt there, but they're, you know, definitely take this curbing completely. Let's see here. Well, right there, I'm like right on the edge of that curbing. But you want to take this curbing, and pretty much once you're starting to leave it, you want to be on throttle. Okay. I may have wanted my car turned a little bit more, but at the end of the day, it does not matter. You want to get on throttle as soon as you can. And there have been times where I get on throttle and I'm pointing even, you know, more towards that tire wall. I don't care at this point. You want to get to full throttle just because you have such a long straight. Be careful getting on throttle here. The track is very, very slippery. You see, I'm still not at full throttle. Now I'm at full throttle. So this whole time over here, I was just playing with it. But as you notice, I opened up my steering just to try to get to full throttle as soon as I can. And because of that, I started coming out a little bit further. You are very traction limited throughout that whole thing. I could have very easily, and there are times I can, like I said, if I had my car turned a little bit more and I can get on throttle, and I could have gotten on full throttle sooner, I could have opened up my steering a little more. If I ended up coming closer to the left here, closer to like that cone on the left side, that's even better. But what I'm trying to say is that even though I wasn't turned in and couldn't get on full throttle when I wanted to, with my car turned properly, it doesn't matter. I just get on full throttle as soon as I can once I have the traction. And then if you have to come up here a little bit, you know, high on the wall, that's fine. You'll come back down. Whatever distance I had to travel extra by going up there, not being able to hug tighter with those cones, I got it back by getting on throttle as soon as I possibly could, and, you know, having maybe a couple of mile an hour more in speed. But then immediately bring it right back down here, and you're just gonna hug the yellow line. There's no reason to go up or anything. It's the shortest distance, and, you know, you have plenty of grip. And then stay hugging it, and again, we're just trying to decrease our distance here. Don't immediately track out when that corner opens up. Stay close to the yellow line, and then go at an angle out towards this wall over here. This is the 3 marker, the 2, and then I'm kind of aiming for this traffic light right here. And I think I want to reach peak brake pressure between that and the 1 marker. So I'm reaching peak brake pressure right here. And And then the 1 marker is kind of my turn-in point. This is again like turn 1. We're running solo downforce. You're braking as you're turning. It is very, very easy to just turn the wheel and your rear just come completely around on you. So just make sure that you brake hard at first. Brake hard at first, but then as you turn in here, you can see I reduced my brake pressure a lot. You want to come down in the 3rd gear. You would rather slow the car down and get on throttle sooner through the chicane than try to carry too much speed and compromise your exit, because again, we have a very long full throttle section around the bowl. I've tried it. I've tried to stay in 4th here, carry a little more speed, and then I might downshift to 3rd at the 2nd curbing, and then get on throttle right after that as I straighten out the car. And I'm scrubbing so much speed that as I'm getting on throttle, my front gets light too quick, and then I start washing a little wide. I put more steering input in, and I'm just scrubbing more speed. I'd rather slow down the car and then get on throttle nicely after the 2nd curbing, and just stay on throttle all the way out, and you're going to end up with a faster speed around the bowl. Coming into here, you want to take this curbing completely. I think I have my left side tires here in the dirt. Let's see. Yeah, left side tires are in the dirt here. No off track, nothing, and it just helps you open up this corner, because if you can tell, basically, if you were to treat this as a 90-degree here, we're apexing super late, you know, because by the time you're essentially apexing right here, you want your car turned almost straight. Alright, and then you want to come out, but not too far out. Like, I'm not even reaching that dark line right there, which is kind of in the middle of the track. You want to try to stay as tight as possible here. And as you can see, I'm just increasing my throttle. I started picking up the throttle in between these 2 curbings. I always pick up the throttle. Like I said, plenty of times, and you know, it may be tense, but like I've stayed in 4th here, carried the speed, I'm still braking, downshift to 3rd, still braking, and then here I'll pick up the throttle. And I just found it's faster. I'll slow down more, downshift to 3rd all the way back here, and then all right here, I'm already picking up the throttle. Because I basically just control the front end a little more, and I'm gradual with the throttle, but I've already got the car in a nice balanced state, so I'm not scrubbing the front tires. I'm not needing to put too much steering angle in. Then I can just take a nice arc over here. My steering has basically been about the same, as you can see, between, and you can even see when I was fast forwarding there. Between here and here, my steering just kind of stays there. I just take a nice arc, so I know exactly what my front end is doing and everything. And you're going to end up carrying more speed out of this chicane than if you tried to carry the speed into it. And then over here, basically, the most important thing is making sure that the middle of your car is to the right of where that yellow curbing ends. If you that gray line right there, I'm pretty much on the border of where, you know, I would get an off track if I went any further left. Another thing besides taking that arc is, so a lot of people, you know, understand that they want to hug this as much as possible, but then they hug it so much that by the time they're coming into this one, they don't have this right turn in, and so they're almost trying to straight line this curbing, because you can actually take this curbing a lot more and you're not going to get an off track, and they try to straight line this one into this one. So instead of being parallel with, you know, the edge of that yellow curbing and that white curbing, instead they're angled more to the left, and even though their car will start off further to the right than I am right now. But what ends up happening is that as they're going to the left over here, they cut it to the point that the center of your car is too far to the left of the yellow curbing, and they end up getting off track. And I used to do that too until I realized that I just need to angle the car more towards the fence, further to the right as I'm coming here. Essentially just go parallel with the edge of that yellow curbing there, and then start my turn in. And honestly, that's pretty much it. You're coming out of here. You just want to stay full throttle, and as I said earlier, in turn one, this whole way out of the chicane, you're just hugging the left side. Just hug that yellow line. Over here, no reason to track out. You have plenty of grip, and all you're gonna do is just increase your distance, and again, stay to the left, and then as you approach the start finish, that's when you track out, and you come in towards turn one and then turn two. I think that's about it. Yeah, the most important thing is definitely getting those good exits out of those corners onto the bowl. Get on throttle as soon as you can. I feel like a lot of the corners here, you want to get on throttle what might seem a little early, just because your apex may be tight, but then it opens up, so you have the room. Just like turn one and turn two here. This looks like a tight corner right here, but then you get on early. You can get on gas early because you can come all the way out to here. See, this is kind of like what I was saying. I didn't do in the previous lap. I kept a little bit tighter, and I was a little more careful with the throttle. But I got on throttle super early this time, and you have all that room on the outside here to track out. So I'd say a lot of the corners here, you want to get on throttle sooner rather than later, which is a little counterintuitive, because in general, in a lot of tracks, you want to trail brake as much as possible, and you'd rather go slow into it, and then you want to get on the throttle fast and hard and open up your steering real quick. I'd say this track is kind of the opposite. It's all about getting on throttle early, easing your way into full throttle, and opening up slowly around all these corners. It seems to be the best way to do it. But yeah, I think that's about it. So that was a track analysis of Daytona International Speedway road course in the Porsche 911 RSR. Good luck everyone in this week's race.